In the vast, untamed wilderness of a world yet young, the story of humanity begins. Against a backdrop of sweeping prehistoric landscapes, the first figures of our lineage emerge. Silhouetted against an ancient sky, they are not conquerors of this world, but an intrinsic part of it, their existence woven into the very fabric of nature. This is the Paleolithic era, the dawn of our species, where survival was an art, and every sunrise was a victory. Here, in the cradle of existence, the journey of humankind takes its first tentative steps, marking the start of an epic saga of resilience, ingenuity, and community. Life was a constant journey, a nomadic existence dictated by the changing seasons and the migration of animals. Small, tight-knit groups moved across the land, their social bonds forged in the crucible of shared challenges and mutual reliance. Collaboration was the key to survival. Watchers, hunters, armed with primitive spears, work in concert, their movements a synchronized dance of strategy and courage as they corner their prey. See the gatherers, their hands deftly collecting the earth's bounty, vibrant berries, nourishing roots, and medicinal plants. Their collective knowledge was a library of survival passed down through generations. At day's end, they would come together to construct temporary shelters from branches and animal hides, a communal effort creating a fleeting sanctuary against the elements. Every action, from the hunt to the harvest, was a testament to their deep-seated understanding that they were stronger together. Survival in this harsh world demanded more than just cooperation. It required ingenuity. The Paleolithic mind was a wellspring of innovation, transforming the raw materials of the environment into tools that extended their reach and secured their future. In detailed close-ups, we see hands skillfully chipping away at flint, each precise strike birthing a sharper edge, a more effective point. These stone tools were not mere objects. They were extensions of human will, used for butchering game, scraping hides, and crafting other essential items. The greatest of their discoveries, however, was the mastery of fire. As flames flicker and dance in the gathering dark, they illuminate the faces of a family huddled close, sharing warmth, cooking their food, and finding security from nocturnal predators. Fire was more than a tool. It was a beacon, a gathering point that nurtured community and sparked the imagination. Beyond the daily struggle for existence, the early human spirit sought expression and meaning. In the quiet solitude of caves, the first artists of our world left their mark, applying pigments to rock walls to create breathtaking depictions of the world around them. Majestic bison, charging mammoths, and enigmatic symbols tell a story of a people deeply connected to the animal kingdom and a burgeoning spiritual consciousness. These were not just pictures, they were a bridge to another realm, perhaps serving as ritual aids or a way to chronicle their history. This reverence for life and the unknown is also seen in their burial rites. In a solemn scene, a community gathers to lay one of their own to rest, a clear demonstration of grief, respect, and a belief in something beyond the tangible world. These rituals and artistic expressions reveal the dawn of culture, the moment our ancestors began to ask the fundamental questions of who they were and their place in the cosmos. For millennia, this nomadic way of life defined humanity. But as the last ice age receded, the seeds of a monumental change were being sown. We see a nomadic group packing their belongings, their gazes fixed on the horizon, ready to follow the herds as they have done for countless generations. Yet in a gradual transition, the scene shifts. In the distance, a new kind of human footprint appears on the landscape. Small permanent dwellings cluster together, and the first simple fields are tilled. This subtle shift from a life of movement to one of settlement marks the end of an era. The Paleolithic hunter-gatherers, who had roamed the earth for hundreds of thousands of years, were on the cusp of a revolution that would forever alter the course of human history, paving the way for the rise of agriculture, villages, and the world we know today. In the heart of the Middle East, nestled between two great rivers, a story began that would change the course of human history forever. This is Mesopotamia, the land between the rivers, a fertile crescent of green that arches across the arid landscapes of modern-day Iraq, Syria, and Turkey. It was here, watered by the life-giving Tigris and Euphrates, that the first seeds of civilization were sown. The rich alluvial soil, replenished by annual floods, created an agricultural paradise, drawing humanity out of the shadows of the past and into the light of a new dawn. This wasn't just a place, it was an idea, a cradle where society itself was born, nurtured and raised. For millennia, our ancestors had roamed the earth as nomadic hunter-gatherers, their lives dictated by the seasons and the migration of animals. But in Mesopotamia, a revolutionary shift occurred. People began to settle, to cultivate the land, and to build permanent homes. They learned to tame the wild rivers, engineering a complex network of irrigation canals that transformed the sun-scorched plains into bountiful fields of wheat and barley. This agricultural revolution created a surplus of food, freeing people from the constant struggle for survival and allowing them to pursue other endeavors. Society became more complex, more organized, and more stable, laying the groundwork for the incredible developments that were to follow. From these settled agricultural communities, something extraordinary emerged: the city. Places like Eridu, Ur, and the magnificent Uruk grew into bustling metropolises, the very first of their kind. Imagine walking through the streets of Uruk, seeing vibrant markets filled with traders, artisans honing their crafts, and priests overseeing religious rituals. Dominating the skyline was the ziggurat, a colossal stepped pyramid that served as a temple, a testament to the people's devotion to their gods and the power of their rulers. It was also in these urban centers that one of humanity's greatest inventions was born: writing. Scribes, using sharpened reeds, etched wedge-shaped cuneiform script onto wet clay tablets, recording everything from grain harvests and commercial transactions to epic poems and sacred hymns. For the first time, human knowledge could be preserved and passed down through generations. The innovations born in Mesopotamia fueled the rise of powerful empires, each building upon the legacy of the last. The Sumerians, pioneers of urban life and writing, gave way to the Akkadian Empire, the world's first true empire, which united the disparate city-states under a single ruler. Later, the Babylonians rose to prominence, and their great king, Hammurabi, created one of the earliest and most complete written legal codes in history, famously inscribed on a towering stone stele for all his subjects to see. The warlike Assyrians followed, forging a vast and formidable military empire. Through this succession of powers, Mesopotamia's influence spread far and wide. Their inventions, including the wheel, the 60-second minute, the 60-minute hour, and foundational concepts in astronomy and mathematics, became the building blocks for future civilizations. It is for this reason that Mesopotamia is rightly remembered, not just as a land between two rivers, but as the universal cradle of civilization, the place where our shared story truly began. In the vast expanse of history, a monumental shift occurred not with the clash of armies, but with the laying of the first stone upon stone. Between the life-giving embrace of the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, in a land known as Sumer in southern Mesopotamia, a revolution was quietly unfolding. Here, amidst the Fertile Crescent, scattered agricultural villages began to coalesce, growing in size and complexity. This was the dawn of urban life, the moment humanity traded the solitude of the countryside for the bustling, organized chaos of the city. Animated maps trace this incredible transformation, showing small settlements blossoming into the world's first metropolises. Legendary cities like Eridu and Uruk rising from the earth as beacons of a new era. At the very heart of each Sumerian city stood a testament to both divine worship and earthly power. Dominating the skyline was the ziggurat, a colossal stepped temple that seemed to reach for the heavens. Imagine priests, clad in ceremonial robes, ascending its grand staircases to perform sacred rituals, mediating between the gods and the people below. This was the spiritual nucleus of the community, a place of immense reverence and architectural wonder. Not far from this sacred precinct lay the palace of the king. Within its fortified walls, a centralized authority governed the city-state, managing everything from public works to the administration of justice. The palace was the political brain, a symbol of the organized governance that allowed these sprawling urban centers to thrive and maintain order among thousands of inhabitants. Stepping into the streets of a Sumerian city would be an immersion into a vibrant, dynamic society teeming with innovators. The air would be filled with the sounds of a bustling marketplace where farmers from the surrounding countryside bartered their harvests of barley and dates. Artisans, masters of their craft, could be seen in their workshops, shaping pottery, weaving textiles, and forging metal tools. This was a society in constant motion, driven by ingenuity. One of its most profound contributions was writing. We see a scribe with focused intensity etching wedge-shaped cuneiform characters onto a soft clay tablet, recording laws, literature, and commercial transactions for the first time in history. Another revolutionary invention, the wheel, transformed daily life, appearing on transport carts that rumbled through the city gates and on the potter's wheel, allowing for the mass production of ceramics. The legacy of these first cities extends far beyond their physical walls. It is a legacy of ideas that shaped the course of human civilization. Sumerian astronomers gazed at the night sky, meticulously charting the movements of stars and planets, laying the groundwork for the science of astronomy and developing a sophisticated calendar. Their intellectual pursuits also led to the creation of early legal codes, which established principles of justice and social order that would be echoed in legal systems for millennia. From their innovations in agriculture and architecture to their foundational developments in writing and law, the Sumerians were true pioneers. Their urban culture became a blueprint, influencing countless civilizations that followed. Though their cities have long since turned to dust, their role as the architects of city living is cemented in history, a foundational chapter in the story of us. Before history could be written, it had to be invented. This is the story of how humanity first learned to capture thought, a journey that begins not with poets or kings, but with farmers and merchants in the fertile crescent of ancient Sumer. Imagine a bustling marketplace around 3500 BC. To keep track of goods like grain, livestock, and oil, people used small, shaped clay tokens. A cone might represent a measure of barley, a sphere a larger quantity, and an incised ovoid, a jar of oil. These tokens were a simple, tangible system of accounting, a physical ledger of wealth and trade. But as cities grew and commerce became more complex, this system reached its limits. The solution was revolutionary. Instead of carrying around bags of tokens, why not simply draw pictures of them? Scribes began pressing the shapes of the tokens onto wet clay tablets, creating simple pictographs. This was the dawn of a new era, the moment when physical objects were first translated into abstract symbols, paving the way for the written word. The transition from drawing pictures to a true writing system was born from the need for speed and efficiency. Drawing detailed pictographs for every single item was slow and laborious. Scribes, the professional record keepers of the time, soon discovered a faster method. Using a reed stylus with a wedge-shaped tip, they began impressing marks into the clay rather than drawing lines. Over time, the old pictures were streamlined into abstract patterns of these wedges. A picture of a head of barley became a few quick, precise impressions. This new script, known as cuneiform, was a breakthrough. A skilled scribe could now record complex transactions with incredible speed, their hands flying across the surface of a clay tablet, turning the mundane details of administration into a permanent record. This newfound ability to record information unleashed a cultural and intellectual explosion across Mesopotamia. Writing was no longer just for counting sheep. Rulers began to codify their laws, like the famous Code of Hammurabi, ensuring justice was consistent and known to all. Priests recorded sacred hymns and detailed rituals, preserving their religious traditions for future generations. And for the first time, humanity's greatest stories could be written down. Epic poems like the Tale of Gilgamesh, with its profound questions about life, death, and friendship, were painstakingly inscribed onto clay, allowing them to be shared and studied far beyond the lifetime of a single storyteller. To house this explosion of knowledge, the first libraries and schools, known as edubas or tablet houses, were established. Here, a new generation of scribes learned the complex cuneiform script, becoming the guardians and transmitters of civilization's accumulated wisdom. Thus, the invention of writing was far more than a technical innovation. It was the foundational pillar upon which complex civilization was built. It allowed for the meticulous administration of sprawling empires, the systematic study of the stars that became astronomy, and the formal recording of events that we now call history. Gazing upon the windswept ruins of ancient Sumerian cities like Uruk and Ur, we are reminded that their most enduring legacy is not found in crumbling mud brick walls or buried gold. It is in the silent wedge-shaped marks on countless clay tablets, the first words ever written. This single invention, born from the simple need to count goods, gave humanity a voice that could echo across the millennia, a gift of permanence that continues to shape our world today. From the heart of Africa, a ribbon of life carves its path through the world's greatest desert. This is the Nile, the river that birthed a civilization. For millennia, its waters have been the lifeblood of Egypt, a gift from the gods that transformed a barren landscape into the cradle of one of history's most magnificent empires. Along its fertile banks, a society of unparalleled ingenuity and grandeur rose from the sand, forever tied to the rhythm of its flow. This is the story of a river and the civilization it created. The entire existence of ancient Egypt was dictated by the Nile's predictable, life-giving cycle, a rhythm divided into 3 distinct seasons. The year began with Akhet, the inundation. From June to September, torrential rains in the Ethiopian highlands swelled the river, causing it to overflow its banks and submerge the surrounding floodplain. This wasn't a destructive flood, but a welcome event. As the waters spread, they deposited a thick layer of rich black silt, a natural fertilizer that renewed the land and made it incredibly fertile. As the floodwaters receded, the season of Péré, the growing season, commenced. From October to February, the land emerged dark and moist, ready for cultivation. Farmers wasted no time ploughing the soft, rich earth with simple wooden ploughs pulled by oxen. They cast seeds of wheat and barley, the staples that would feed the nation, and planted flax for making linen textiles. This was a period of intense labor and communal effort, as the Egyptians worked to harness the land's renewed bounty under the warm winter sun. The final season was Shemu, the harvest, which lasted from March until May. This was a time of both hard work and celebration, as the entire society mobilized to gather the fruits of their labor. Families worked together in the golden fields, cutting the grain with sickles and threshing it to separate the grain from the chaff. It was a bustling, lively scene. Scribes, the meticulous administrators of the state, were ever present, carefully recording the yield from every plot of land. This detailed accounting was crucial, as the harvest surplus would be collected as taxes to feed the pharaoh's court, pay the artisans, and sustain the army. This agricultural abundance was the foundation upon which the entire edifice of Egyptian civilization was built. The surplus of grain meant that not everyone needed to be a farmer. This freed a large portion of the population to specialize in other crafts and professions. Skilled artisans created exquisite pottery, intricate jewelry, and fine furniture. Architects and engineers, their wages paid in grain, could dedicate their lives to designing and overseeing the construction of breathtaking monuments. The grand temples dedicated to the gods and the colossal pyramids built for the pharaohs were all made possible by the humble farmer's harvest. The Nile was more than just a source of food. It was the spiritual and commercial heart of the kingdom. The Egyptians personified the flood as the god Hapi, celebrating him with hymns and festivals, for they understood their very existence depended on his annual gift. The river was their primary highway, a bustling artery of commerce and communication. Boats of all sizes sailed its waters, transporting everything from grain and livestock to massive blocks of stone, quarried in the south, destined for the monumental construction projects in the north. The river connected the disparate parts of the kingdom, unifying its people, its economy, and its culture. From the towering pyramids at Giza to the silent gaze of the Sphinx, the enduring symbols of ancient Egypt stand as testaments to a civilization's genius. Yet beneath their monumental shadows flows the true author of their story, the eternal Nile. For over 3,000 years, this river was more than just water. It was the source of life, the foundation of belief, and the very soul of a civilization that continues to capture the world's imagination. Its gentle currents carried the dreams of pharaohs and the hopes of farmers, shaping a legacy that time itself cannot erase. In the shifting sands of time, where empires rise and fall like desert dunes, one civilization stands eternal, carved in stone and gold. Imagine a figure adorned in splendor, the crook and flail in hand, a living bridge between the mortal realm and the heavens. This was the pharaoh, not merely a king, but a god walking among men, the very heart of ancient Egypt's enduring power. Their reign was not just a mandate of earthly authority, it was a divine right, a sacred duty to guide their people and uphold the cosmic order. Seated upon the throne of the two lands, the pharaoh was the ultimate arbiter of fate. As the high priest, he communed with the gods, performing sacred rituals to ensure the Nile's life-giving flood and the sun's daily rebirth. As the supreme commander, he was the valiant protector of Egypt's borders, leading his chariot divisions into the fray to smite the enemies of the kingdom. It was under his divine gaze that wonders were wrought from the earth. Legions of workers, guided by brilliant architects, raised colossal pyramids and majestic temples, not just as tombs or places of worship, but as everlasting testaments to the pharaoh's power and his role in maintaining Ma'at, the fundamental principle of truth, justice, and cosmic harmony. Yet the pharaoh did not stand alone. His power was intertwined with an intricate and powerful pantheon that governed every aspect of existence. From the radiant sun god Ra, who journeyed across the sky each day, to Osiris, the lord of the underworld who promised eternal life. The gods were the unseen forces shaping Egypt's destiny. Temples, bustling with activity, were their earthly homes, where priests performed elaborate ceremonies and common people left offerings of food and prayer, seeking favor and protection. The profound belief in an afterlife drove the intricate art of mummification, a sacred process designed to preserve the body for the soul's perilous journey through the underworld, where its fate would be weighed and judged by the gods themselves. To govern such a vast and complex kingdom, an elaborate hierarchy of power extended from the pharaoh's divine person. At his right hand was the vizier, the chief minister who oversaw the state's administration, from collecting taxes to dispensing justice. Below him, a powerful and wealthy priesthood managed the vast temple estates and guarded the sacred knowledge of the gods. The army, loyal and formidable, enforced the pharaoh's will and defended the nation's wealth. Scribes, the keepers of records, meticulously documented every decree, transaction, and historical event, ensuring the seamless operation of the bureaucratic machine that sustained Egypt's stability for millennia. Thus, from the grand pyramids that pierce the heavens to the myths that have captivated the world, the legacy of the pharaohs and gods endures. This unique fusion of absolute monarchy and deep-seated religious conviction created a civilization of unparalleled grandeur and resilience. It was a world where divine will and human ambition merged, forging a power structure so potent that its echoes can still be heard, whispering tales of gods and kings across the eternal sands of Egypt. Before the rise of legendary empires like Rome or Persia, before pharaohs united the lands of the Nile, a new political idea was forged in the cradle of civilization. On the fertile plains of Mesopotamia, a land of scattered, often warring city-states, one man's ambition would forever change the course of history, giving birth to the world's very first empire. This is the story of the Akkadian Empire and its visionary founder, Sargon the Great. For centuries, the Sumerian city-states like Uruk, Ur, and Lagash had dominated the political landscape of southern Mesopotamia. They were centers of culture, religion, and trade, but their constant rivalry prevented any lasting unity. This all changed with the emergence of Sargon, a man whose origins are shrouded in legend. Sargon's story is one of a remarkable ascent from obscurity to absolute power. According to legend, he was a man of humble birth, set adrift in a reed basket on the Euphrates River, only to be discovered and raised by a gardener. He rose through the ranks to become the cupbearer to the king of Kish, a position of trust and influence. But Sargon's ambition extended far beyond the palace walls. With strategic brilliance and military prowess, he built his own army and embarked on a series of breathtaking campaigns. One by one, the proud Sumerian city-states fell before his disciplined forces. He didn't just conquer, he unified, bringing diverse peoples under a single banner. At the heart of his new realm, he established a magnificent capital, Akkad, a city that would become the epicenter of this new world order. Governing such a vast and diverse territory required more than just military might. It demanded revolutionary new methods of administration. Sargon and his successors were innovators in the art of imperial rule. To ensure loyalty and maintain control, they appointed trusted Akkadian governors to oversee the conquered Sumerian cities, replacing the old local dynasties. They standardized weights, measures, and taxes across the realm, facilitating trade and creating a more cohesive economic system. A network of roads was established, allowing for rapid communication and deployment of troops. The Akkadian language, a Semitic tongue, was promoted as the lingua franca of administration and commerce, further binding the empire together. This era also witnessed a flourishing of artistic expression, with sculptors creating stunningly realistic portraits and victory steles, like the famous Stele of Naram-Sin, which celebrated the king's divine-like power and military triumphs. However, like all great powers, the Akkadian Empire was not destined to last forever. The very concept of a centralized empire was a constant challenge to the fiercely independent city-states it had subjugated. Sargon's successors faced a relentless series of internal rebellions as local rulers sought to reclaim their lost autonomy. The empire was also assailed by external threats from all sides. Nomadic tribes, particularly the Gutians from the Zagros Mountains, launched devastating raids, weakening the empire's borders and disrupting trade routes. After about a century and a half of dominance, the strain became too much. Internal strife combined with foreign invasions led to the collapse of central authority. The magnificent city of Akkad fell, and Mesopotamia fractured once again into a collection of competing city-states. Though its existence was relatively brief, the Akkadian Empire's legacy was profound and enduring. It had shattered the old political order and created a powerful new model for the future. The concept of a single, all-powerful ruler uniting vast territories under one administration became the blueprint for countless empires that would follow, from Babylon and Assyria to Persia and beyond. The Akkadians had not only built an empire of territory, but also an empire of the mind. leaving an indelible mark on the culture, language, and political imagination of Mesopotamia. Sargon's creation was the first great experiment in imperial rule, a bold vision that would echo through the corridors of power for millennia to come. Why does the world always seem to be in a state of chaos, with humanity perpetually on the brink of war? What if the solution wasn't just to win the next battle, but to end the fighting altogether? This relentless drive for security, for order, is the spark of empire. And it first ignited in the dust of ancient Mesopotamia, giving rise to the world's very first empire, the Akkadian. Before them, there was no precedent. After them, the world would never be the same. This is the story of how a singular vision for peace forged an empire through war. Before the Age of Empires, Mesopotamia was a fractured land, a mosaic of proud, independent Sumerian city-states like Ur, Uruk, and Lagash. This was not a world of peaceful neighbors. It was a pressure cooker of conflict, a realm of perpetual insecurity. Vital trade routes carrying precious timber and metals were constantly under threat. Disputes over access to the life-giving waters of the Tigris and Euphrates rivers frequently erupted into open warfare. In this landscape, every city was a fortress, encircled by massive defensive walls, its people living under the constant shadow of the next raid, the next siege. Survival depended not on cooperation, but on the strength of one's own walls and the readiness of one's militia. This endless cycle of fighting drained resources, stifled progress, and ensured that the world remained small, fragmented, and dangerously unstable. Out of this chaos stepped a man with a revolutionary idea. Sargon of Akkad was more than a warlord. He was a visionary who saw a different future. Where others saw only rival cities to be defeated, Sargon envisioned a unified land, a single state that could impose order and guarantee stability for all. But this grand vision required a tool sharp enough to carve a new reality. He forged the Akkadian army into a disciplined, professional fighting force, unlike any seen before. His soldiers were equipped with powerful composite bows that could rain death from a distance and were trained to fight in tight, organized phalanx formations. This new model of warfare proved devastatingly effective, easily shattering the disparate and less organized militias of the Sumerian city-states. One by one, they fell before Sargon's relentless advance, his military might paving the way for his political dream. With each victory, the true engine of the imperial project was revealed: control. Sargon's primary motive was to seize the very resources his rivals had fought over for centuries. His armies marched to secure the fertile farmlands that fed the region, the critical trade routes leading to distant cedar forests in Lebanon and copper mines in Anatolia, and the quarries that provided stone for building. The spoils of conquest fueled the imperial machine, a constant river of tribute. Grain, silver, livestock, and raw materials flowed from the subjugated cities into Sargon's new capital, Akkad. This wealth was not simply hoarded, it was reinvested, funding an even larger army and enabling further expansion. To secure these economic gains, Sargon dismantled the old power structures. He replaced the traditional local kings, or Ensis, with his own loyal Akkadian governors, creating a centralized bureaucracy that answered directly to him and ensured his grip on the empire was absolute. Ultimately, the Akkadian Empire was born from a powerful combination of necessity and ambition. It was a response to the chronic warfare that had plagued Mesopotamia, an attempt to impose a lasting peace through absolute control. Sargon's vision provided the direction. His military innovations provided the means, and the immense economic benefits provided the fuel. In conquering Mesopotamia, Sargon of Akkad didn't just build a kingdom, he created the imperial blueprint. It was a cycle of expansion, driven by the dual pursuit of security and profit that would be copied, adapted, and perfected by countless empires for millennia to come. The world had learned a new, transformative, and often brutal form of power. In the sprawling expanse of Mesopotamia, where rivers birthed civilization, rose a city of unparalleled grandeur, Babylon. Imagine soaring over its sun-baked walls, past the brilliant blue of the Ishtar Gate, and towards the towering ziggurats that pierce the sky. Below, life teemed in bustling marketplaces, a vibrant tapestry of cultures, languages, and traditions. Ruling over this diverse kingdom was King Hammurabi, a visionary leader who understood that true unity required more than conquest. He sought to forge a nation bound not by the sword, but by a single, unwavering standard of justice. This quest for order would give birth to one of history's most important legal milestones, a code that would echo through millennia. At the heart of Hammurabi's vision was a monumental declaration carved in stone. Picture a towering stele of black diorite standing nearly 8 feet tall for all to see. At its apex, a relief depicts King Hammurabi himself, standing in reverence before Shamash, the Babylonian god of justice, who extends the rod and ring, symbols of divine authority. This was not merely art, it was a profound statement. Engraved below were 282 laws, one of the earliest and most complete written legal codes ever discovered. Its purpose was clear: to be public, permanent, and divinely sanctioned. Through simple animations, we can see its most famous principle in action: lex talionis, or the law of retaliation. An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. The punishment was designed to directly mirror the crime, a stark and clear form of retributive justice that left no room for ambiguity. But was this justice truly for all? A closer look at the code reveals a society rigidly divided by class. The laws were not applied equally to everyone. The rights and punishments for a nobleman, a commoner, and a slave were vastly different. If a nobleman injured a commoner, he might pay a fine. If he injured another nobleman, he could suffer the same injury in return. The code's scope was remarkably comprehensive, touching every facet of Babylonian life. It governed commerce, with laws against shoddy work and regulations on loans and debts, protecting both merchants and consumers. It shaped family life, detailing rules for marriage, divorce, inheritance, and adoption. The code even settled property disputes, ensuring that a farmer's claim to his land and water was protected by the authority of the king himself. The implementation of this code was a public spectacle of order. In open-air courts, under the watchful eyes of the public, judges would consult the laws to render their verdicts. For the vast majority who could not read, scribes would recite the laws aloud in the city square, ensuring that ignorance was no excuse. This system transformed Babylonian society. Arbitrary decisions by local elders or powerful figures were replaced by a predictable and transparent legal framework. Merchants could trade with confidence, families could be secure in their rights, and every subject knew the consequences of their actions. It created a foundation of stability that allowed the Babylonian Empire to flourish, fostering a sense of shared civic identity. Though the empire of Hammurabi eventually crumbled, his code endured as a monumental legacy. It established the revolutionary principles that a government bears the responsibility for upholding justice, and that laws must be written, codified, and accessible to the people. This concept, that no one is above the law and that justice should be systematic rather than arbitrary, laid a foundational stone upon which countless later legal systems, including our own, would be built. Hammurabi's stone may now reside in a museum, but his principle of written law remains a cornerstone of civilization, a testament to a king who dared to carve order out of chaos. Forget the kings and conquests, the towering ziggurats and hanging gardens you've read about. To truly know ancient Babylon, we must walk its streets, not just marvel at its monuments. We journey back in time, not to the throne room, but to the heart of the city itself, a sprawling, living metropolis. As the morning sun first touches the horizon, we swoop down from the imposing skyline, past the grand processional way and into the vibrant, crowded alleyways. Here, amidst the labyrinth of sun-dried brick, a different story unfolds. It's a tale told in the laughter of children chasing stray dogs, the boisterous calls of merchants hawking their wares, and the rhythmic clang of an artisan's hammer. This is the real Babylon, a city teeming with the everyday life that was its true foundation. The sun climbs higher, and the city awakens with a surge of energy. The pulse of Babylon is loudest in its bustling marketplace, a crossroads of the ancient world. We follow a merchant navigating the throng, his senses overwhelmed by the kaleidoscope of sights, sounds, and smells. Stalls overflow with treasures from distant lands, gleaming copper from Anatolia, fragrant spices from the east, and bolts of richly dyed wool. Alongside these exotic goods, local farmers proudly display their bounty. Pyramids of sweet dates, heaps of golden barley, and baskets of pungent onions. Not far from the market's chaos, in a quieter lane, we find the workshops where Babylonian ingenuity takes shape. A potter, his hands slick with clay, coaxes a graceful vase into existence on his spinning wheel. Nearby, a weaver's shuttle flies back and forth, her fingers expertly transforming simple threads into a tapestry of intricate geometric patterns, a testament to the skill and industry that fueled this great civilization. As the midday heat intensifies, the city's rhythm shifts. The clamor of the streets gives way to the quiet refuge of the home. We step through a simple doorway into a typical Babylonian house, built of mud brick around a cool central courtyard that offers a sanctuary from the glaring sun. Life here is centered on the family. We see them gathered on reed mats, sharing a simple yet hearty meal. A father breaks unleavened flatbread, passing it to his children, while the mother ladles a thick stew of lentils and onions. They wash it down with a staple of the Babylonian diet, a low-alcohol, nutritious beer brewed from barley. In a corner, a young woman rhythmically grinds grain between two stones, the coarse flour destined for the evening's bread. It is in these simple, repeated acts of domestic life that the social fabric of Babylon was woven, emphasizing the profound importance of kinship and the home. The afternoon sun casts long, sharp shadows as our journey continues towards the sacred heart of the city. The air grows heavy with the scent of incense as we approach the temple precinct, a world unto itself. Here faith is a tangible daily presence. We witness a priestess robed in immaculate white linen, leading a solemn procession towards the grand temple of Marduk, the city's patron deity. She carries an offering of figs and honey, a humble tribute to the powerful gods who governed every aspect of life, from the harvest to the flooding of the rivers. In the shaded cloisters of the temple school, another kind of devotion is taking place. A young scribe, his brow furrowed in concentration, meticulously presses a reed stylus into a tablet of wet clay. He is not just learning to write, he is becoming a guardian of knowledge, mastering the complex cuneiform script to record laws, transactions, and the movements of the stars, preserving the advanced astronomical and mathematical wisdom for which Babylon would be renowned. Just as a single day draws to a close, so too did the age of this magnificent city. The sun dips below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple, its last rays catching the pinnacle of the distant ziggurat. A final montage of scenes flickers before our eyes. The merchant counting his day's earnings, the potter stacking his finished wares, the family lighting oil lamps in their courtyard, the scribe carefully placing his tablet on a shelf to dry. We see now that the true, enduring soul of Babylon was never forged in gold or carved in stone. It was not defined solely by its famous kings or its codified laws, but was built day by day through the collective hopes, struggles, and labors of its ordinary people. Their lives, a vibrant tapestry of commerce, craft, family, and faith, were the real legacy that sustained one of the ancient world's most glorious cities.